Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 51. I'm your host and Perrysburg resident, Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is an informational podcast for prospective, new, and current Perrysburg, Ohio residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. You can find the show notes for this episode on perrysburgpodcast.com. Today, we're talking about Milestone Park. Milestone Park is Perrysburg's smallest park. Background information first. Where is Milestone Park? Milestone Park is located at the intersection of Sandusky Street and Hickory Street. The address for your GPS is 727 Sandusky Street, Perrysburg, Ohio. It is easy to find because it's marked by a City of Perrysburg park sign along Sandusky Street. If you haven't heard the name Sandusky Street and you are a local, it may be because most of us just call the street Route 20. Most of us refer to Route 20 as being whatever is east of the I-75 overpass there by the Harley-Davidson dealership. But in town, we call this Sandusky Street. Where do you park? There is no parking lot for this park. If you need to park a car, I recommend you park either on Clover Lane, that is the nearest side street, or you can do what I did and park on East 7th Street, which is about 2 blocks away. How long does it take to see everything? I would allow at least 15 minutes for your visit. The 3 must-see features of Milestone Park are a limestone road marker, or milestone, an Ohio historical marker sign, and a bright orange sculpture of a man wearing a suit and a hat. For some context, the milestone is the big attraction, and the historical marker tells you about the milestone. The bright orange sculpture of the man in the city, as he's called, on the other hand, was added in 2021 as part of the art installation at Woodlands Park. Let's talk about the Ohio historical marker sign first. I have lived in Perrysburg for about 17 years. I drive past this sign every week, but I had never stopped to read it until this week. At this time, I would like to read the sign to you, just in case you have never stopped to read it either. Side note, real quick, one of the things that I love about this podcast is that it makes me take a closer look at the things that are right under my nose. If you have ever passed by this Ohio historical marker sign at Milestone Park without ever reading it too, this episode's for you. The top of the historical marker sign naturally says, Ohio Historical Marker. You know the kind, it's a brown sign with the gold letters. Side 1 is titled The Maumee and Western Reserve Road. It says, Sandusky Street, otherwise known as U.S. Highway 20, is the former Maumee and Western Reserve Turnpike. Native American tribes northwest of the Ohio River ceded the right-of-way for this 46-mile road to the federal government in the Treaty of Brownstown in 1808. This narrow strip ran in a nearly straight line from the lower Maumee River Rapids through the Black Swamp to the boundary of the Western Reserve and included 1 mile of land on either side of the 120-foot wide road. In 1823, Congress gave the land to the state of Ohio, and a crude roadway was cleared by 1827. Land sales financed road building and maintenance. Notoriously impassable during the wet seasons, the Mud Pike, as it was called, was surfaced with gravel in 1838. That ends Side 1. Side 2 is titled Turnpike Milestones. It says, the triangular limestone marker located here is one of 30 original milestones along the old Maumee and Western Reserve Turnpike, which was established by treaty in 1808 and by 1827 extended from Perrysburg to Bellevue. These milestones were placed in 1842, shortly after the state upgraded the road from a muddy quagmire to a then modern gravel or macadamized surface and improved drainage alongside it. On the right face of each milestone is the letter P for Perrysburg. On the left face are the letters LS for Lower Sandusky, now Fremont. The bottom of each side of this historical marker says the Ohio Bicentennial Commission and the Longaberger Company, Historic Perrysburg, Inc., the Ohio Historical Society 2001 13-87. That ends side 2. You can find pictures of both sides of this historical marker online. The website is hmdb.org. That is the historical marker database at hmdb.org. To learn more about Milestone Park, you can also go to the City of Perrysburg's website and Historic Perrysburg, Inc.'s website. I'll have links to both of those in the show notes for episode 51 on perrysburgpodcast.com. Please note that when you go to historicperrysburg.org, you need to click on the Discover tab and then find the spot where it says Bridge Across the Swamp. Once you get there, you'll find more details about the limestone mile marker or milestone at Milestone Park. In my own words, the website says that there was a road across the Great Black Swamp, and it was built between Perrysburg and Fremont in the mid-1800s, and then one of the milestones from that road is in Perrysburg's Milestone Park. There you go, that's my summary. Therefore, small as it is, Milestone Park contains a piece of Perrysburg's history. We talked about the milestone, we talked about the historical marker. Now, what's this about an orange sculpture at Milestone Park, you may be wondering? There is a bright orange sculpture at Milestone Park, and it is called Man in the City. It is part of the Man in the City project, which was spearheaded by Detroit artist John Sauvé. John Sauvé. To learn more about the Man in the City art project, you can Google Man in the City project. There you go. That's about it for Milestone Park. If you are a prospective, new, or current Perrysburg, Ohio resident, I hope you learned something that you didn't already know about Perrysburg's smallest park. And if you're a visitor, stop by Milestone Park when you're in town to see a piece of Perrysburg's history. Thank you for listening to episode 51 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Please visit perrysburgpodcast.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, you will find links to the City of Perrysburg's website, Historic Perrysburg, Inc., the Historical Marker Database, a video about the Man in the City project, and more. If you would like to be notified by email each time a new episode of the Perrysburg Podcast comes out, please sign up for the newsletter on perrysburgpodcast.com. You can also subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Please share this podcast with anyone you think might enjoy it. Thank you so much for listening today. I will talk to you next week.